Welcome to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg.
And I'm Carrie. We love creating beautiful, functional spaces and living healthy, vibrant lives. So join us as we chat about simple, practical ways to take care of your body, mind, and your home. Whether it's fitness tips, home decor ideas, recipe, or navigating those big life moments, we're here to share what works for us and what doesn't, with some encouragement along the way.
Let's redesign this life together, one step, one room, and one habit at a time. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Redesigning Health and Home. I'm Meg, and of course, I'm here with Carrie, our fabulous co host and interior decorator. And I'm so happy to have Carrie's knowledge today because we are talking about how to create a warm and welcoming guest room, something we all need as we go into those seasons where we have visitors or family staying with us. So, Carrie, I'm super excited about this one.
Well, thanks for the lovely introduction, by the way, Meg. That was so nice. Yes, it's a good topic coming up to the busyness of summer, but even for holidays, whether the guests are staying for just a quick overnight or for quite a long time, it's nice just to discuss some little tips and tricks of making a nice guest bedroom.
Well, I'm excited to hear what you have to say. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So, if you were to give us a step by step for prepping, what is the first thing you need to think of?
So the first thing I think of is the age of the guests that are coming. Are there children coming? Because that's a totally different list if they are.
Sure.
If it's strictly adults coming, then I like to focus on how are the guests going to get a really comfortable night's sleep. That's most important. So having a comfortable bed, the most comfortable bed that you can find in your house or you can afford is great. And then how are you going to control the light for the guests so that they can sleep well and so that if they want to read or write or something before bed, that they also have that kind of lighting on their bedside or overhead lighting so that they can do that. Next, I would say temperature control. I think we've all been in a hotel or somewhere and tried to sleep and it's way too hot or way too cold. So providing lots and lots of layer options for bedding so that your guests can put on as many blankets as they like or as few and get comfortable. But also maybe a little portable fan if there's not a ceiling fan, and maybe a little portable heater in the winter and cool months so that they have the option to control the temperature for themselves. So I think that's usually where I start, is making sure that those things are in place.
That is fabulous. This is better than a hotel, like you said. I mean, this is really nice. Nothing like freezing or roasting. So, temperature control, I can see it's a huge thing. Now, if we were to go, if you have a bathroom accessible for your guests, what are you thinking about? Is there a step by step guide that you think of how much you leave out or what they need? What do you think?
Right. As far as leaving things out, try to think of it as your guests don't want to have to necessarily come and ask for more toilet paper. So can you leave it out so that it's visible so that they can access it? And a little basket of oops, I forgot items, maybe a freshly wrapped bar of soap, some, individually wrapped toothbrushes so that they have in case they forgot something at home, toothpaste, mini-sized deodorant. What other things might they need? Pain reliever, Pepto or something like that.
Yeah.
And so thinking through what kind of things you might want if you were away and you forgot them at home. So making a little basket like that is very helpful, leaving it either in the bathroom or in the bedroom. And then for towels, I like to leave a stack of towels per guest, one bath towel, one hand towel, one face cloth per guest. If they're only staying for a day or two, that's probably enough. If they're staying longer, you're going to have to refresh those towels partway through the visit. And so maybe you need a laundry basket as well for them to pop those towels in there. And maybe they might even need to run a load of laundry for themselves, depending how long they're staying. And someplace to hang those damp towels for them to dry. I always am wondering, where am I supposed to hang this wet towel? And taking the time to even tell your guests that when they arrive. Oh, there's a hook on the back of the door here for you to hang your towels, and kind of give them a little tour of the room so that they know what to expect.
Oh, that's a great idea. I do really like that. Now, I remember once you told me, and this makes complete sense to me, that you will sleep in your guest room in your house
Yes.
before someone else does? Does that just give you an idea of what is actually needed?
Yeah. What is needed and what are the quirks of the room?
Oh,
So
smart, right.
when you lay in the bed, did you notice all of a sudden that the yard light is shining right through the curtains and now you can't sleep? Or there's some kind of funky noise that happens that maybe you can fix it, maybe you can, but at least you can let your guests know, hey, if you hear a thump in the night, that's the pump or whatever. And just, do you need to put a trash can in here? Is there a mirror for your guests to use to get ready? What other things might they need that you wouldn't have noticed had you not spent the night in there? So some place to put their clothes, whether it's a luggage rack, the kinds from the hotel.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of those that are collapsible. Those are super convenient. Is there space in the dresser, even a couple drawers that they could use? Some space in the closet with some hangers that they can use? You don't necessarily have to empty the entire closet. That is nice if you have that luxury. Our closets seem to be pretty overflowing all the time, but we try to at least scooch things over enough so that my brother-in-law can unpack his clothes because he always wants to unpack his
Okay.
clothes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes. And so a place to put all your things. In the bathroom, I do try to declutter the entire surface of the vanity so that guests have a place to put their things, except for the little oops basket. And then making sure your guests have drinking water in the bathroom and also in the bedroom. I think that's a really important detail to make sure that is available to them as well.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So if you were to put in order of maybe you could only have three, four, five things, what would be the list that you would create for someone to create just the most perfect guest room?
That's a great question. So, comfort is key. Comfort and making them feel welcome. So, declutter the room as much as you can to make it look like a guest room and not just a dumping ground of old furnishings that we don't use anymore, if at all possible. And then pillows. So just like a lot of hotels now have gone to this where they offer a variety of pillow firmnesses and heights. I like to do that as well because having an uncomfortable pillow makes it really hard to sleep. So a variety of pillows, a variety of blankets for temperature control with that fan and that heater. So that's your temperature control, your light control, make sure that they can either close the blinds or if you don't have that, can you put a little sleep mask by their bed so that they have that
Mm.
option as well? I would say that's really important. Some place for their clothes, like we talked about, some hangers, place to put them, a luggage rack. And then I like to include a little basket of snacks so that if guests are feeling a little munchy or hungry in the middle of the night, they don't have to go tripping into your kitchen to try to find something. You could put some granola bars or pieces of fruit or, something convenient in the basket for them to munch on if they want to. And speaking of tripping into the kitchen, that did remind me, one thing I do like to make sure there's in the hallway is night lights so that people can find their way to and from the bathroom with a nightlight and not
Yeah,
be kind of bumbling along in the dark. So a nightlight
that
is
is a nice idea. And then, well, you sound like you're hitting on every note here. You mentioned one also, and this is so you, but a little gift basket as well. Is that part
yeah.
of the food snacks or is this something separate?
Well, it depends who the guest is. If it's somebody I haven't seen in a long time and they're coming especially to see us, I might get a souvenir. We live in the Chicago area, so maybe I'll get a little souvenir to put in the basket for them to take home. If it's winter time, maybe a cozy pair of socks or something so that they can wear those around the house and just a little something that says we're excited that you came and wanted to think of you. So it doesn't have to be a really large thing or expensive thing, but just a little something. It might be chocolates on the pillow. That might be all it is too.
That is so thoughtful. Now, I know we have older adult children, so we're not always in this phase, but if there's families that are traveling with little ones, is this all kind of change when you have kiddos coming?
It definitely can. I would say talking to the parents before they land at your home with the kiddos is the best way to go and find out, are they most comfortable sleeping in the same room as mom and dad? And if so, do you need to put a mattress on the floor? If it's a little bit older child, do you need a crib or a pack and play for your little guests to sleep in while they're there? And again, some snacks for them, night lights, maybe a little bucket of toys or a couple of books for bedtime and some blankets and things for them as well. A sound machine can be that's kind of a bonus thing, I would say. Maybe your guests would bring their own if they have little kids, but that is a nice thing to have. Even for yourself, right? Just to have that
Yeah.
little sound machine can be helpful to get the little ones off to sleep. So if you're having teenagers, then they might be in their own room, of course. And so all the same things apply for the adults, but maybe some just more kind of a teenage fun snacks for for the kids or the teenagers when they're there as well. And something for them to do, I would say. Do you have a TV nearby? And if so, make sure they know how to work the remote so they can do that if they can't sleep and they want to get up and watch a bit of TV or whatever, then they know how to access that. Again, my
Those are
brother-in-law, he loves to watch TV kind of late into the night. And so he needs to know how to work the remote before I go to bed because
yeah.
sometimes I go to bed before he's ready to go to bed.
Sure. No, that's a great idea. Now you're talking about, your snacks for the fridge, but do you prepare that ahead of time too? Do you ask preferences or dietary needs?
Yes, for sure. So before guests come, I like to send them a text message or give them a call and ask if there's any food restrictions for themselves or their family and or any preferences, right? Oh my gosh, this reminds me of friends of ours. They thought that cooking lamb for us was such a treat, and we don't really like lamb, but
Okay.
they didn't know that. And so the first time they did it, we kind of picked at it and whatever. And the second time, I think I said something about, oh, I don't actually eat a lot of meat or whatever. And so,
Yeah.
Pete's eating this lamb. And then the third time, finally, Pete had to come out and say, I'm not a big fan of lamb. And they're like, oh my gosh, we thought we were making this big treat, buying the
Right.
lamb and making the lamb. And so it might be good to find out if there's any, like, oh, we absolutely don't eat any fish or whatever, and find
Right.
out ahead of time. Or if you have a vegetarian coming and that sort of thing. So yeah, definitely some discussion before will help out for sure. And then making a bit of a menu is helpful.
Nice.
Yeah, based on kind of the itinerary of your guests. If they know that they're going to be going out and having their meals out of the house, then you don't have to worry about it on that particular day. But getting a bit of itinerary, planning ahead, maybe you can make some meals to put in your freezer or throw something in the slow cooker so that when everybody gets home, you know what everybody's going to eat and there's no stress about that.
Yeah, for sure. No stress having guests. That's a nice thing,
That's a
right?
novel concept, isn't it?
Yes. Well, you just want to do it so nice. So I can see you wanting it just to be super nice. So that's very nice. Now you are so good about thinking about, seasons and the five senses. How does this all play when you're having guests? Let's say they're coming and it is a winter wonderland outside. Do you do something seasonally as well?
So if I have enough heads up ahead of time, so if somebody's coming for the holidays and it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, then it's a fun time to put a little something seasonal in there. Maybe a little Christmas tree on the dresser could be fun, or a seasonal candle. Candles and scents you do have to be a little careful with because not everybody is good with them. Actually, most of my sisters don't handle scents well. If that's the case, you might want to leave that out. But maybe it's an extra cozy blanket for reading, or in the summertime, maybe it's a little vase of flowers that you cut from your garden, or, it could be any little kind of special touch like that. I've seen people go really far and hang garlands and wreaths on the headboards and have full Christmas trees. And we don't go to that extent. That is lovely. But you could if you have the
Yeah.
time to do that would be fun. So sometimes it's just something a little special to welcome in the season.
Sounds beautiful. Well, I love all of this. Is there anything else that you think you'd like to add about how or when or what to do when you have guests?
I think just thinking ahead, but then trying to relax when they get there. You're not going to probably think of every single detail. One thing that I like to include is the Wi-Fi code. I type it out on a little card and leave it in the bedroom. And it's so funny because that's usually the thing that my guests mention. Because they're like, oh my gosh, you put the Wi-Fi code. Like, this is like a hotel. And it's such a small thing, but it's easier than somebody coming to ask you. And, if you don't remember your Wi-Fi code, now you're digging, you're like, what is it again? It's just easier. Type it on a card and just leave it in there. And so just thinking how you would want to use a guest bedroom space if you were traveling and, taking the time to think it ahead, and then just trying to relax and enjoy your guests.
Well, that is the key for sure. Well, I am officially inspired and I can't wait. If I ever get to be a guest in your lovely home, I will be checking out for all of these items. And it just sounds so nice.
I'm going to have to make a checklist, Meg, to make sure I have everything that I just promised.
Yeah, I'll expect the VIP treatment, Carrie, for sure.
Well, I would love it if you came, and you are welcome anytime.
Oh, well, thank you. And thanks for all these tips. And thank you all for listening. Don't forget to follow along and share this episode where you know someone who loves hosting. And we'll see you next time on Redesigning Health and Home.
See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Redesigning Health and Home podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, we would love for you to like, share, and follow along so you can catch us on all future episodes. You can find me, Meg, at Fit, Fed, Feeling Good on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And you can find me, Carrie, on my website at homestylewithcarrie.com and on Instagram and Facebook at homestylewithcarrie. That's Kerri. And you can find both of us at Redesigning Health and Home on Instagram and Facebook. So join us next time for more inspiration on creating a home and a lifestyle that truly supports your best health.